That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about episode 6 of Mary and George. The Queen is Dead is the name of the episode. The series will begin to premiere on Stars as of April 5th, 2024.
The year is 1620. The Queen done died.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like Gary Oldman as Dracula in the casket.
Yeah.
But what's going on?
Or Bride of Frankenstein with that hair.
Oh, yeah, that's what if you mix the two. So what's going on? The Queen has died, but the King has overspent and cannot borrow any more money. So he can't afford to give her a state burial.
Mm-hmm.
So things are in turmoil over that, and there's still protesting going on. Man, these timelines, and I don't because Sir
Walter Raleigh,
like, wasn't it 2 years prior that he was executed?
Yeah, he was beheaded in 1618, and this this episode is in 1620.
So have they been protesting for 2 years?
I guess so, but they commented in episode 5 like, "Oh, these protests will die out eventually." Guess not.
So there's protests. People think like King James hates Spain and has no money. So little Prince Charles, the King James' son, is mad. He's mad because, well, we knew he was mad from a previous episode because he says that his dad doesn't even like pay attention to his mother who's sick. And now that she's dead and she's like across the hall, he doesn't even see her because her dead body's been laying in wait for like weeks. Mm-hmm. She's starting to decay. But things come to a head when Mary, her prostitute gets thrown in jail. Mm-hmm. But Mary's also telling her son, like, you need to appeal to the king. But then Charles is telling George, like, and George knows that Charles is going to be king one day. And Charles tells George, men like you will be where they belong. Mm-hmm. Like, Charles does not like George. So, of course, he's thinking, I need to get on his good side.
And by extension, probably all homosexuals.
Right. So George sort of like launches the campaign to get the king to do the right thing with the Queen's body. And then we're told that he has to reopen Parliament to raise taxes. Mm-hmm. None of that made sense to me. He also, because he walks into Parliament and just starts rambling, and we find out that Parliament's been closed for 6 years.
Yes, because this king thinks that when you lean on Parliament like that, it shows weakness.
But I was so confused, like, he wants them to, like, write into law new taxes to get money. But I don't understand, like, his wife is decaying in that house today. So what?
Right.
Where is he getting money from to bury her now? Not write up new legislation to raise taxes to then get more money to then pay him. I just don't understand. But
that's like waiting for the current administration in the U.S. to get a budget signed for the year.
Ugh. But so magically we see her get buried. Don't know how that happened. I mean, obviously assuming he got money. Okay. So now Mary, Julianne Moore's character, she's distraught because her lady is in jail. And she's in jail due to Sir Francis Bacon. Mm-hmm. And then Sir Coke, Lady Hatton's husband, who we haven't seen her in a minute and years have passed. Yes. So I'm assuming that he's also mad because he has found out that his daughter, who's married to John, she's basically like having sex with other men. While John is like in an undisclosed location rehabilitating. Mm-hmm. So he's basically like disowned her. He says, I don't want to hear about her because you've corrupted her mind to be nasty like you all are. Mm-hmm. But one day he walks into the King's Council and he says, I resign. Like, I'm tired of this shit. In fact, I'm going to join 2 committees in Parliament to flesh out the corruption.
Domestic corruption and the investigation into what's going on with Spain.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then immediately we see Sir Coke and his committee raid George's brother Kit's home mm-hmm. and George's home. Mm-hmm. But George and Kit escape. And they're like, we don't know what to do. We can go to France or we can go to our mother. And they go to Mary for help. And she's like, I was waiting for y'all to show up. I'm not going to help you unless you do something for me. You need to help me get my girl pardoned. Well, how do we do that? Well, this is what you're going to do. You're basically going to hand Sir Francis Bacon to Sir Coke because he's corrupt. And if we remember from, I think, episode 3, Sir Coke is upset with Sir Francis Bacon because he wanted that overseer position that he didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
So Julianne Moore Mary is saying, like, yeah, he would love to convict him. Like, he would gladly take him over the 3 of us. Well, how are we going to do that? Like, how are we going to get evidence that Sir Francis Bacon is corrupt and a traitor because he's on Spain's payroll? So how do they do that? They basically take little Prince Charles to Spain to marry the King of Spain's daughter.
Yes, so that
the Infanta.
The Infanta. So the kingdoms will be united, much like they were under the rule of Henry VIII, whose first wife, Catherine of Aragon, was Spanish. But as we know, that was a relationship that ended up with the invention of a new church and divorce.
So, what's the name of that Spanish ambassador we've been dealing with?
Gondomar.
He agrees to give proof that Sir Francis Bacon is on Spain's payroll because of Prince Charles' hand in marriage to the Infanta.
Mm-hmm.
So Sir Coke, like we immediately go to Sir Francis Bacon being stripped of all titles and basically
ruined.
Mm-hmm. And in the end, Sir Francis Bacon goes to George, fully infected with syphilis. We saw little sores on his face in episode 5,
mm-hmm.
but now he's like clearly sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells George, I just want you to know, children's children to know that I got the final say on your mama. And then we see that he basically paid someone to kill the prostitute as she was leaving jail.
I was trying to look up if that is on record, how Sir Francis, did he die of syphilis related issues? And he apparently died of in a year after King James of cold pneumonia due to his own experiments, because he was a proponent of the scientific method.
Oh,
so I don't know. They might be taking liberties with that. I'm not sure.
This series is kind of getting tiresome to me. Just like the way it's handling the history of all of it, they're just broad strokes and big jumps, and it just isn't. I think I would have preferred the intricacies of certain moments, and
mm-hmm.
It almost feels like maybe originally the series might have been like 15 episodes, and then at the last minute they're like, "You got to shrink this down to 7," because
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We have a new director at the helm of this one, Florian Cossen, a German who I think I saw Deutschland 86, which he directed 5 episodes of.
Because even the allure of the first 3 episodes is gone. Because it's not sexy anymore. There's no right.
We also get since 2 years have passed. Nicholas Galitzine has long hair. I was trying to ask you if that was 2 years worth of growth. On his
it is 2 years. Your hair would grow 12 inches. So
wow,
that makes sense.
Okay.
But he has long hair now. He looks like something from the Underworld series.
Mm-hmm.
I think Charles, the king's son, looks like if you mixed Steve Buscemi and Elijah Wood.
Sure. Yeah, he has a creature-ish look to him.
Before the prostitute before she goes to jail, she gets knocked the hell out. We see her walking through a marketplace.
It looks like she's following Francis Bacon in that scene. Yeah.
And someone like hits her in the face with a tree stump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than a baseball
bat. Her name's
bat.
Sandie, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to demean her by calling her the prostitute. Sandie, the brothel madam turned lady in waiting.
Sandie, the sex worker, played by Niamh Algar.
But before she gets done up, she and Mary are standing like on the veranda of their amazing estate, and Sandie is telling Mary, like, you have so much money, like, why do you want more? And I wrote down, where'd the money come from?
Mm-hmm.
This series is not explaining anything. Did she get money from that
dowry?
The dowry of George?
No. Well, yes. By that time, George is married, but
You're right.
And she's a countess that has been granted, and her son was granted land. So again, it's not specified, but I think she probably got her own.
I guess I'm confused that if this series, I mean, it's called Mary and George, and it's about this like conniving ass mother who used her children as like, she's pimping out her children for money, but the series is not showing her riches.
She wasn't alone in doing that.
No, but I feel like I was assuming based on episodes 1 and 2 that we were going to like experience the decadent life that she gets to lead.
Sure.
And really, this series is quite drab.
It is. It's.
Where's the luxury? Where's the money? Where's the fancy? Even like when we see the king dining, it looks like when I go to my cousin's house and they have those like party tables with the white sheets over them and the catered food,
paper plates.
Like it doesn't look
red cups. Well, you know what? Part of what constitutes luxury is time. And being able to spend time, because time is money, and this is running through everything like a hurricane. So.
Literally.
So that's not very luxurious.
The way George first appeals to Charles is he tells him, like, I understand that you're upset that your dad has neglected you, and your dad is really bad at that, and I know you're upset about him not paying attention to your mother. And then all of a sudden he goes 47, and Charles is like, what does that mean? And he's like, it's 47 steps between your dad's room and where your mom's body is, so maybe we should shorten those steps. And then we see the men carry the queen's dead body into the room the king is in. And the king has not been mourning. He's been in there playing games.
Yep.
And when they drag her body in there, his reaction is like she was inaccessible, and now he finally gets to be with her. And so then he lays with her. They make this king seem so simple. I'm sure that's the lore of his reign, but I
was going to make a Melania joke, but
yeah, this is for YouTube. We got to calm it down. So another big leap is in episode 5, we see that Mary's trying to get George to marry Catherine, the super rich girl. And then in episode 6, we just see that she is very pregnant.
So they've been married, have a baby in the oven. And their big conversations in this are about whether it's going to be a boy or girl. He really wants it to be a boy.
You know the conversation I'd rather have? What does the king think about George being married and having a baby?
I think that was expected, but...
You think?
Well, yeah, because the king was married to a woman. You had to be married to a woman. That's but
the king, his little lover boy, I feel like
that's also how you carry on your bloodline, which all of these people believed in.
Yeah, but if I were the king, I think we deserve at least a moment with the king talking about the fact that his main butt boy is married to a lady who's pregnant.
And having sex with her.
Right.
But
we don't hear...
But then we do get King James talking about... George asked him if he ever loved Queen Anne of Denmark, and he didn't.
Yeah, he did say that.
And that's just the way it was.
So then after the king has his, opens up parliament, I guess now has money again and buries his wife. Now he's locked himself in his room again, but now he seems paranoid, and he says like only God can save us, and his nose is bleeding.
Yes, and as we know, King James did have many health ailments at the end of his life, which would make Tony Curran look a lot different, or should look a lot different than he does in 1620.
Yeah, because he still looks pretty good.
Because we're 5 years out from this man's
dying.
Death. Yeah.
Well, we have one more episode left.
We sure do. Oh, did we bring up that Kit murdered the witness, Wearstrap?
No, we didn't. Okay. Sir Francis Bacon is like, bitch, you're trying to threaten me, but don't forget that man, those 2 men you tried to kill, only one of them died. And if I need to, I can have him come and testify against you. And she's like, oh, you think so? Because I have one son who's willing to do whatever he needs to do. And then we see that Kit killed.
His name is Wearstrap.
That witness. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What else would you like to say about episode 6?
That's it. This is also, I love Julianne Moore and Trina Dearholm. Actually, and I have enjoyed Nicola Walker as well, but I do think this is a prime example of why I don't really like television series. Because
even Julianne Moore, like her character is starting, like it seems like she's kind of bored.
Yeah,
and then what's the name of the actor playing George?
Nicholas Galitzine.
I don't mind him, but I don't think he brings anything to.
I don't either.
I was more sort of intrigued by Somerset.
Well, as Julianne Moore has taken a backseat kind of in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. So it's not as fun.
Yeah.
And then, Nicola Walker not being around has definitely toned it down. But see you in episode 7. Don't forget to join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.